Mike is an ambitious young man. He wants to have a fulfilling career, make millions of dollars, have a family and be happy. He says he's going to make his dreams come true. Yet, the first thing he does when he wakes up in the morning is to grab his phone in bed and to watch TikTok reels after TikTok reels. Before he even realizes it, 30 minutes have gone by and he's already late to work. Screw making himself a healthy, filling and nutritious breakfast. He's already late, so instead, he grabs a piece of cake and calls it a breakfast. At the office, Mike struggles to focus on the work he's supposed to do. He needs to complete an important work project for his boss, but for some reason, he just can't seem to focus, and instead, he keeps going on Facebook to see if anything new pops up on his feed. When he comes back to his small apartment after a long and productive day, Mike just plops down on the couch and turns on the TV. Wait, he said he was going to go to the gym today. Oh, but you know what? He's had a long day. He earned to relax. He'll go to the gym tomorrow anyway. Be honest, is this you? You see the days, the weeks, the months, the years flying by you, yet you're still not any closer to living the sort of dream life that you've always wanted. Not too long ago, I was broke and completely depressed. Fast forward to today, and I'm now running a profitable online business and living a life I never thought I could live. That is why my goal with this video is to share with you the 8 steps I personally followed to unfuck my life and how you can do it too. Step 1. What's the destination? If you are watching this video right now, the truth is that it is because you are profoundly dissatisfied with the current state of your life. And deep down, you know that something needs to change. You know that life isn't going to get better. You know that unless you wake up right now, you roll up your sleeves and you put in the work to make your dreams come true, the years will pass you by, and before you even realize it, it's going to be too late. You'll hate yourself forever for not having pursued what you wanted to pursue. And that is why, honestly, the first step is asking yourself, what do I actually want out of life? Why do I get out of bed every morning? What's the point? Personally, I knew that I didn't want to have a boss, and I didn't want to be broke anymore. That was my driver, that was my reason to get out of bed and to work hard. I wanted to be free, and I wanted to challenge myself and achieve the extraordinary. I see plenty of people, they procrastinate, and they don't understand why. They think that maybe it's because they're fundamentally flawed, that there is something inherently wrong with them. They're just inferior human beings, and people who can focus and do the work are superior. That is not true. The real reason why you can't sit down at your desk and do the boring work that you know you need to do to get what you want, and especially when it's the last thing you feel like doing, it's because you're not emotionally connected to a powerful driver. So what do I mean by that? Everyone wants to make more money. A lot of people want to be in better shape. You'll see people for New Year's, they're going to make resolutions, and some people, they might start going to the gym for 1 week, 2 weeks, hell, 3 weeks if they're really motivated. But then suddenly you don't see those people at the gym anymore. They say they want to make more money, but then the next year they haven't made any progress. That's because their goals are very vague. I'm not saying that you need to have a crystal clear vision of what you want exactly, because the truth is that your vision is going to evolve over time. There are some things that you might want right now that before you didn't really care about. However, you need to have an end destination in mind. I think you'll agree with me that Google Maps is a pretty useful tool, but it's only useful when you know your destination already. It's just that you don't know how to get there. But that's the thing, even a tool which is really helpful, like a GPS, it's not going to serve you unless you already know where you want to go. And that's essentially a metaphor for your skills, your talents, your intelligence, and your determination. You can be very clever, very talented, very skilled, very hardworking, but if you put all that energy, if you channel it in the wrong thing, you'll end up in a place which will disappoint you. Step 2. Start taking care of yourself. Far too many people neglect this aspect. And when I say taking care of yourself, I'm not necessarily referring to what you eat or to your weight, because sure, it is an aspect of taking care of yourself, but most people are aware of it already. They know they should eat better. They know that eating sugary cereals for breakfast is not a good idea, just like eating a pizza for dinner every dinner is not a good idea. In fact, we even have an obesity epidemic right now, because a couple decades ago, plenty of people were told, you're getting fat because you're eating fat. And at first glance, it might make sense. However, in reality, it's because you eat too much of literally anything that you gain body fat. I mean, some bodybuilders, they eat literally just chicken, broccoli, rice. They still gain some fat. So that goes to show you it's not necessarily what you eat, it's more about the quantities. And now that I've said that, some people will be like, oh, so you're saying that we can just eat anything, eat garbage, eat sugar, eat pizza, all that crap, and it's not a problem? That's not what I'm saying. But taking care of yourself has to do with a lot more than just what you eat. One thing is that you want to exercise. We're not built to be sedentary. Our bodies are not that evolved. I mean, nowadays we have the internet, we have computers, skyscrapers, cars, but our bodies are pretty much still the same. We still have the same desires that we had centuries ago. Maslow's hierarchy of needs still apply today. We need shelter, we need food, we need love, we need recognition, we want to feel accomplished. Then of course you want to eat healthy, and what that looks like most of the time is to eat single ingredient foods. For instance, if you buy some broccoli, you should only have broccoli, not broccoli, chemical, sugar, crap, seed oils, and all that stuff. Then you want to focus on your sleep hygiene, because most people are not sleeping nearly as much as they should. And even when they are, their sleep schedule is all out of whack. Your body body needs a consistent sleep schedule to function at its maximal capacity. If you really want to achieve big things in your life, you cannot disregard sleep. You need to make it a priority. That means that every night you want to be in bed for at least 7 to 9 hours. And technically it would even be more than that. If you want to sleep 7 hours, you need to be in bed for at least 7.5 hours. Because you're going to wake up sometimes throughout the night. It's going to take you some time to fall asleep. Just because you're in bed for 7 hours, it doesn't mean that you're sleeping for 7 hours. And something else is that you want to manage your stress levels. And honestly, one of the best ways I've found to do that is to avoid toxic people as much as possible, like people who are just constantly negative, they want to pull you down, they're not helping you in any way, they always criticize you. I mean, those people, you should get them out of your life as quickly as possible, because at the end of the day, they're not your friends. Especially when you're trying to improve yourself, plenty of people are only waiting to see you fall, because now, the fact that you failed, it makes them feel better about their own failures. And then this is going to be especially applicable if you are self-employed, or if you are trying to build an online business, or to scale your business. It's to stop working at least 2 hours before you go to bed. Because if you're like me, you're constantly thinking about ways to improve the business, about work, and so when you get in bed, you're going to be thinking about business. Your mind is going to be racing, you're going to be overthinking. And at the end of the video, I'm going to explain why this happens and how you can stop that. And trust me when I say it is a game changer. Step 3. Go for a walk every morning. I'm not telling you to go for a walk every morning to get some exercise in. I mean, sure, it's a nice benefit, but that's not the reason why. You want to do it to reset your circadian rhythm. What happens when you go outside in the morning? The sun is rising slowly. You get the light in your eye, and it is signaling to your entire body that it is time to be awake, meaning it's time to have energy and to get stuff done. Because as the sun sets, as it gets colder and colder, your body starts to get the signals that it's time to unwind, it's time to go to sleep. So if you never get those signals of it's time to be awake, to do stuff, then no wonder why you feel lethargic all day. I mean, at some point, I downloaded an app on my phone. I wanted to see how many locks were inside versus outside. It was insane. Barely 200 locks inside, whereas outside, it showed me more than 10,000. And then we honestly wonder why we're so tired. Most people are not getting enough vitamin D to begin with, and that is because they're not exposed to natural sunlight every day as much as they should. And this happens because for most of us, we spend most of our time indoors. When people go to university, they're being sedentary. When people have a desk job, they're being sedentary. They're inside a cubicle. So naturally, they don't get the sunlight that they need. Now, you really need to get outside. Even if you have a window next to you, the light isn't going to touch your skin directly. It's not going to go in your eyes directly. The windows are going to block the UV. And before I did this, I thought I had sleep apnea. I'm not even kidding you. I would exercise every day, go to the gym for like an hour and a half. I'd eat very cleanly, sleep 9 hours a night or even more. I'd try and meditate to take care of my mental health and stuff like that. But I was always tired. I'd see some people eating garbage. They looked less tired than me. So I was wondering what the hell is wrong. I thought surely this can't be any kind of nutrient problems because I'm getting all the nutrients I need. I already eat plenty of healthy food. So what was the problem? And the reason why I'm saying this is because at some point I needed to take 2 naps per day. One in the morning, a couple hours after the gym, and then one around 2 p.m. because I was so tired. So I honestly wondered maybe I have sleep apnea. So I did a sleep study, I did a blood test, and everything showed up fine. The issue was I wasn't getting enough sunlight. Now it's been months and I haven't taken a single nap. So if you are in this situation, if you find yourself constantly napping, trust me, go outside. If it's a bright, clear day, stay 5 to 10 minutes. If it's cloudy or raining, you want to stay 15 to 30 minutes. And those are minimums, not maximums. Trust me when I say that in just a couple of weeks, your desire to take naps, your fatigue, it's going to go away completely. It was a game changer for my productivity. Step 4, get up early. Honestly, there's no worse feeling than getting up late because you missed your alarm and now you're rushing to go eat your breakfast, to brush your teeth, to get dressed, to be ready for school or for work. You don't get to enjoy any part of your morning, and then you're forced to quickly drag yourself to work or to school, which nobody likes. By getting up 1 to 2 hours earlier than you normally would, you make time for yourself, either to take care of yourself by journaling, by reading a book, by exercising, or by working on your projects. You make time for what matters the most for you. At the end of the day, we all have 24 hours in a day. Some people might be able to use more of that time than others, because some people have kids, while some don't. Some people have more responsibility than others. But at the end of the day, when people say, I don't have time for this, in reality what they're saying is, it's not in my priorities, because if it were, they would make sure they get it done. And honestly, if you don't have enough time in a day, the best way to have enough time is to get up earlier. And besides, for most people, are you really getting anything productive done at night? Let's be honest, you're not. Step 5, no phone for the first 30 minutes of the day. You've got to understand this. Your phone is probably the biggest productivity killer of all times. And the reason being, we're so used to constantly unlocking our phones, constantly replying to text messages, or consuming YouTube Shorts, TikTok Reels. Now we can't focus on anything that lasts longer than 2 seconds. Because when you are always doing those small, short activities, now you can't go deep, now now you can't focus. Now reading a book for 1 hour, even watching a movie, which is supposed to be quite enjoyable, now you hate it because it's too long, it's too boring. So if you program your brain for overstimulation like constantly, no wonder why you can't get anything done and your life is a mess. Understand this, we are creatures of habit. The things we think, do, and say on a daily basis are mostly out of habit. But because it happens on a subconscious level, we don't realize it. So if you are in the habit of constantly consuming content, constantly looking for the quick, easy hit of dopamine that you can find on social media, for instance, you're actively programming your brain to not be able to focus. And guess what? To become successful, you need to develop the ability to focus uninterrupted for long periods of time. Most people think that the reason why they don't have what they want in life, it's because they lack the time, the knowledge, or the energy. In reality, it's because they can't focus. This brings me to step 6. No social media until noon. This comes back to what we were saying, but the goal is to get the bulk of your work done before noon. Personally, I wake up, I eat my breakfast, then I go to the gym, then I come back, do 2 to 3 hours of deep work, and then I get lunch. And during the entire time that I'm working, my phone is in a drawer, because if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. And whenever I start to notice I'm not as focused, I'm not able to work as efficiently anymore, I get up, I take a quick break, but I'm not checking my phone. Because for all I know, I could just take my phone, see notifications, messages from people, and then get sucked into a conversation that lasts the entire morning. Understand this, if you are trying to build a business, especially a successful business, I mean that's the goal, isn't it? Your phone or Netflix or video games or any of those things, they will always provide you with much greater hits of dopamine than simply sitting at your desk and doing the boring work. And let's face it, we are all lazy by nature. It wouldn't make sense to be running around constantly, because what if you expend all of your energy for no reason and then there's a tiger attacking you? Now you have no energy to fight back. That's why we're built to be lazy, essentially. But that isn't to use this and to say, oh, well, if I'm built to be lazy, then I'm just gonna be lazy. Step 7, deep work. Your ability to do deep, focused work directly correlates with your potential to make more money. We only have 24 hours in the day. We spend at the very least 7 of them sleeping. Depending on how much you sleep, this leaves you with either 15 to 17 hours of waking time every day. You need to use that time wisely. In reality, you can beat 99% of the competition and get more done than most people in 2 to 3 hours a day, because for most people, it would take them 8 hours to do it. Plenty of studies have shown this time and time again. And let's be real, I've seen plenty of employees behind their desks, they're not really working, they're playing chess, they're playing cards, they're on Facebook. For most jobs, honestly, people have to be physically present for 8 hours a day, but they're not working 8 hours a day. That's what is amazing with online businesses, because as long as you get the work done, you don't need to work X amount of hours. It's all about getting stuff done. And if you focus intensely, you can even do 4 hours of work a day. Now, of course, it's going to depend on what you're trying to accomplish and on what stage you're at. And since most people can't focus anywhere, you can take advantage of it. If you have the ability to focus, you will destroy your competition, literally. Now, how do you go about doing deep work? The first thing is that you want to choose a task that you want to complete. It's very important to set an intention before you go ahead and begin a deep work session. Otherwise, it's completely pointless. Then you want to set a duration. This could be 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. And then, of course, you want to make sure you minimize all potential interruptions and you remove all distractions from your work environment. Like I said, my phone goes in a drawer. If there are other people in your environment, tell them that you are going to be doing some deep work and you do not want them to come and knock at your door and disrupt you. Step 8. Time alone with your thoughts. In the modern world, we constantly love to be busy. I mean, personally, I hate boredom. I always need to have some kind of physical or intellectual stimulation to really feel alive. But more often than not, this does us harm. We get so lost in the busyness of everyday life that we forget who we are at our core. That is why from time to time, you want to take time to just sit with your thoughts in a room alone. At first, it might sound weird. I mean, what's the potential benefit of doing this? Understand this. The only thing right now that is preventing you from getting everything you've always wanted, it's you. And that is why you need to be smarter than yourself. Because there is a part of you which is lazy. There is a part of you that doesn't want to do the work. There is a part of you which is afraid of pain. And then there's the other part of you, the ambitious, the hardworking, the talented part of you. But that part of you will not be unleashed if you let that weak, lazy side win. And that is why sitting with your thoughts alone will help you to understand yourself, the way that you function. You'll understand what motivates you to do things. You'll realize why you don't want this or that. For a lot of people, it's easier to know what they don't want as opposed to what they do want. I mean, the reason why I started a business is because I didn't want to have a boss and I didn't want to be broke. I knew what I didn't want and I was willing to do everything in my power to roll up my sleeves and to work hard to get what I wanted. And the reason why at night when we go to sleep, our minds are racing, we can't calm it down, it's because we never take time to sit alone with our thoughts. And if you do that from time to time, I can guarantee it will be a lot easier to fall asleep at night. Because when you lay in your bed, it's the only real time you're alone with yourself. And that is why now you have all all of those thoughts preventing you from falling asleep. Bottom line, understand this. No matter what choice you make, you will have to face uncertainty and pain. There is no easy way in life. If you want to become successful, it's going to be painful. You'll need to work more than most people. You'll need to make sacrifices. For a while, you'll need to block out all the noise, all the distractions, and focus on work. And it's hard to do. But being unsuccessful, being broke, it's just as hard. You'll be just as depressed. You'll hate your life. What's fun about that? If you want to get in shape, it's hard to push yourself to go into exercise 5-6 times a week. It's hard to always watch what you eat. But then if you're just out of shape, you're overweight, maybe even obese, you look at yourself in the mirror and you hate yourself. You always feel out of breath and you know you could be doing so much better, so much more. You're constantly lethargic. Either way, you feel pain. So at the very least, choose to suffer for something which is worthwhile. Now, like I said, if you want to start your own online business, you have no clue where to start, I have recorded a free video in which I'm going to analyze every popular online business model. Together, we'll take a look at the pros, at the cons, and I am also going to share with you for completely free the 3-step process that you can use to start your own business today and get your first customers as quickly as possible. The link is in the description below.